welcome to the vlog. It is Sunday. I am currently reading this book, still don't know the title of it. Welcome to the vlog. I've been in the same sweatshirt for the past couple days because I've been rotting in my house. We're gonna take a full everything shower tonight, drinking our vitamin C. I did a couple dishes. I'm trying to like wane my dishes down versus like doing them all at once and hurting myself. So, and also a grocery haul. So I thought this is like 2 to 3 weeks worth of groceries and snacks, depending on how much I eat in my room and how much I eat in the dining hall. So, oh, I should tell my mom to get cold brew. I'll survive. I'll get some of it. Whatchamacallit? Pepperoni. I stole those from home because I bought them for me and they're not going to get eaten in my house, so I bought them with me. 2 extra mini cukes, again, that I purchased and forgot to bring with me when I was going to school. And I have some. It's going to be real easier. Just take out the picture. I have some kept on the bottom shelf, otherwise they freeze. Plain pretzels. I eat them with ranch or with what are they called? Dip. Some salt and vinegar chips. Provolone cheese that is sliced, which will go in my little. It's okay. Swiss is pretty hard anyway. This is my I call it my sandwich container. So I know there's ham somewhere in this bag. That does also go in this container. I have 2 books, hold on, that I brought back with me to read this week or whatever. The Unraveling of Cassidy Holmes and Did You Hear About Kate Carr? Both of these are ones I want to read this week, so we'll see. Oh, I got dinosaur clips like at Christmas time and my mom finally sent them home to school with me. Tortillas. Some of this was at home. 2 chopped salad kits. This is the Asian chopped salad, so it's cabbage, carrots, green onion, sesame dressing, wonton slices, and almonds. And then I also have chicken. I'm too big for my britches here, but we'll see. Italian style shredded cheese. I put that in soups or other things. I told my mom I didn't want to split bagels with her, but she still gave me bagels. Cool. Sour cream. My lifeblood. Oh, this is what I got. Hummus to go with the pretzels as well. That could also go on sandwiches if I wanted it to too. Ham for sandwiches. And the sandwich bucket. I don't have any pickles. I have cucumbers that I made, but they don't hit the same. And then she gave me 2 cranberry juices. Before anyone is at me talking, they're not actually cranberry juice. I know, it's cranberry flavored water, but whatever. I have 2 orange bell peppers. There's also a bag of red onions in my car. I just didn't bring them in. But 2 regular sized orange peppers. This is crucial. Because there's also a bag of mini peppers because I went through a giant bag and there's like 2 servings left from Costco last week. So apparently I'm pepper tea. Then I've got, these are 2 different ones, aren't they? Yeah. So I got 2 Parmesan cheese little guys that can be made in the microwave. 2 shells and white cheddar. And Spanish rice. I think my fridge can get close. Yeah? Yeah. Closed. Then I got a lot of, so I got 2 cans of corn. Sometimes I'll just eat a can of corn, or I'll add it into like ramen. Green beans I'll add in with ramen too. Add what you need. 2 cans of mini raviolis. I prefer Chef Boyardee, but we were shopping at Aldi, so And then four cans of tomato soup. So yeah, that's my grocery haul for a couple weeks. I tend to like stock up on produce and then I get canned 1 to 2 canned every time just to kind of refill on what I eat because our dining hall kind of sucks. So I eat a lot in my dorm. Okay, I'm gonna put all this away and I'll see y'all in a bit. Okay, excuse the really gross, like a horrible messy bun. It's fine. It's like coming into a pony now. I was trying on my lab goggles that just came in. They're super cute. They're super comfy. They're like $9, which for this is pretty nice. And then they also came with their little bag, which is also great because I have to carry them in my backpack. And I had to get ones like this because we are not allowed at the school to have the little like glasses ones that I prefer, but I also really hate the other ones, so I got ones that are like a little bit more expensive but better for me. And then I also picked up these also got delivered. They're just binder tabs for anatomy and chemistry. Oh, I dropped bioethics and I picked up I go to a Catholic school, so I have to take Theology 101. So I picked that up for a 6-week online course, and then that gives me another psych credit to take in the summer. And then with that credit, including the one that's from my nursing program, I'll only need to take one more class to finish the elective part of the psychology major, and then I just have to finish the like core curriculum for the psych major, which is like an additional 20-ish, 21 credits. So that's exciting for me. I'm still reading this book, and then I'm also going to be reading, did you hear about Kitty Carr? Because I'm gonna try the thing where you shouldn't have blue light exposure for like 10 minutes, an hour before bed. So like 7-ish, 7:30-ish, I'm gonna turn off all my computers and everything like that. I'll probably put music on my phone because silence makes me icky. But yeah, we'll see if it like helps me sleep better. I'm gonna give it like a week and a half to 2 weeks to see if it like has any effect. I'm gonna do anatomy and physiology homework. I had some sort of epiphany about something I needed to do. Oh, I need to post last week's vlog. It's like, you didn't do something. I have to post last week's vlog. So I'm gonna go do that and watch some guys' grocery games and do homework. Alright guys, it is Tuesday morning. I look like a troll. I feel gross. I got sick. I'm pretty sure I'm PMSing. And I'm super tired. And I don't know if I'm tired or if I just don't feel good. So. And I have chem lab today. So I literally can't afford to be sick. I'm trying to hope that wearing the blue light glasses save me from an impending headache. I will have goggles. Look, so it's not even worth it to wear the little glasses. Look at it. Oh god. Anyway, I started, you can't even see the title. I'll show you the spine, you can't see that either. Did you hear about Kitty Carr? It's really good. I'm enjoying it a lot. I got the recommendation essentially from Tyler Jenkins Reid, who wrote The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I really like that one. It's shaping up to be that I will like this more. I think it just has, not that Seven Husbands is bad, that was one of my top rated books in 2023. It's just, I think this one has a little bit more depth and a little bit more of a social commentary. The other one, yes, had a social commentary about Latinas in Hollywood, because Evelyn Hugo is, I believe, Latina. She's of some sort of descent. I think she might be Cuban. I'm not 100%, which I know is different than Latina, and I sound like a dumb white person talking, but I can't remember her specific ethnicity. And then it also talks about a lot heavily on gay rights through the 50s and 70s and 80s. This one is talking a lot about race, both in the present day, circa 2017, which now is kind of getting old, and in the 40s and 50s. I am a sucker for old Hollywood drama, and I'm loving this so far. I read it for like an hour last night. I shouldn't say an hour. Like half an hour, and then I got really tired, so I stopped. This is my day. So, I'm gonna read a little bit of this before I go to class. I'm trying not to die. I'll see you later in a bit. Bye. Okay, hello folks. I'm about 150 pages into Did You Hear About Katie Carr? Is that what it's called? Yeah. I had to bust out the tabs. There's so many, like, because it's flip-flopping perspectives and time periods, so it's a lot to, like, mentally sift through. Like, you hear one name and it sounds a little similar to the other one, so here you see one name, but I'm breaking up tabs. I think it's a necessity. I should have started doing it sooner, for my own well-being. It's so good. I'm enjoying her a lot, and I'm gonna continue reading her. Oh, I threw my bookmark in the back. I'm having a really good time. I think I'm gonna be getting more kiddie chapters now, so I'll see y'all in the next clip. Bye. Sarah for girl. I kind of had this thought that this was gonna be how it played out. I'm 293. I'm on page 293, and I'm very sad. It's like melancholy. I've been immersed in Kitty for so long, and then you get hit with a flash forward from the previous, like, future chapters. Once I finish it, I will have more comprehensive thoughts. I'm definitely gonna have to sleep on it. It's like 9:30 and I have like 100 pages. I'm gonna have to finish this book today. I want to see how it ends. But I'm like, this one might make me cry. It might. So I will see y'all in the next bit. Just when I think I've got the plot figured out, another curveball gets thrown at me. She's been talking to a woman named Claire, and I didn't even connect the dots that her half-sister is named Shirley Claire. I literally had to get out of my bed and jump around. I've not been this immersed in a book in a long time, like a physical book, like that got me to read the physical book. I was like immersed from the first page and just into it. I'm obsessed. Okay, I'll see you guys later. I cried. It was so good. I finished. I'm gonna sleep on it, and I will do like a more in-depth talk about it tomorrow. This is a 5-star. I know it doesn't seem to have that many great reviews on Goodreads, but this was really good for me, and I think a lot of people may be missing or feel attacked by the intended message, and I think it's a very important message. So, yeah, I'll talk about it more tomorrow. There's some very heavy topics that are discussed, and I want to do them justice, and my 11 o'clock brain cannot do them justice, but booklight is delayed on, but they deserve it, so I'll talk about this more in tomorrow's little segment. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Hey fam. I can't remember if I recorded this morning or not. I don't think I did because I was kind of in a rush. So I wanted to talk about today. I'm already done with my classes for today, so homework is on the docket, and the book I want to read is The Unraveling of Cassidy Holmes, so I'm going to start that today as well. So before I get into my review / thoughts on Did You Hear About Kitty Carr, I wanted to just foreshadow the rest of this week. So Nobody Like Us by Becca Cristorucci comes out on Friday. The new Sarah J. Maas book comes out on Tuesday next week, so that'll be in next week's vlog. This book by LJ Shen, it's in the Pretty Reckless series. It's like the youngest kids, comes out or is out, so I'm gonna read that as well. And I think I'm gonna put this book, I still can't remember its name, it's something devil, on the back burner. I'm kind of losing interest in it. It's Single Mom, so I'm sure I'll pick it back up and it'll be fine. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't have very many books, like physical books, on campus. Okay, Kristen and Becca Ritchie, I'm part of their Patreon, and they keep doing teasers on their Patreon, and I'm losing my marbles. That release day is on a Friday. I've never been more excited for a release day because A, it's Friday, which means I don't have any responsibilities after like 3 p.m. I'm staying staying at school this weekend, so I have a lot of time on my hands. But I don't have very many like physical copies of books on campus with me that I haven't read. So like I have Stardust in Their Veins. However, I just learned that Stardust in Their Veins is the second book in that series, so I can't read that. I have The Similars by Rebecca Hanover. I have 2 books by Katie Robert that I haven't read. I have Wicked Beauty and Radiant Sin. I have Electric Idol with me, but I read that one already. I have Better Than the Movies, The Fraud Squad, The Accidental Pinup, Love Theoretically, Love in Other Words. I have The Inheritance Games, read that. Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. I also have One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. The Ballad of Ever After from Stephanie Garber, which I've also read. And then I have Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I actually, when I found out like some of her more problematic behavior and also that it was not as good as reviews said it was, I like went to Target and I was like, can I do a mail return because I got it in the mail, and they're like, you can just keep it, here's the money back. And I was like, perfect. I love when that happens, when they're like, you can keep the product, we don't want it back. So I kept the product. I got paid essentially for that book. It was also, it's damaged, there's like a lot of dents and stuff on it, so I was gonna return it. Because why keep it, if I heard it's not that great. So I have to grab some more books when I'm home the next time, because I can't send my mother or my sister in there because they will topple. It's chaos from when I was organizing my shelves. But yeah, so I'm trying to read before bed, like actual books versus being on my phone with the blue light. So far my sleep has actually, it's been a couple days. I've been trying to like limit screen time after like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, usually 8 o'clock because I'm still doing homework around 7. And it's actually, my sleep has kind of improved. I didn't go to bed till really late last night because I was finishing this, but I am so excited to talk about this book. I really liked it, and I was reading some of the reviews, and majority, like the couple that I read, the complaints were that they didn't like the narrative time jumping and there was too many perspectives and too many jumps to follow accurately, which I keep trying to pull my braids back, but then they look really bad back. So I didn't really agree with the confusion around the time jumps and the perspective jumps. I actually liked that. It kind of kept you going, and it really helped me keep going because I was like, I need to get to the next POV, like I want to see what happens in this perspective. So I guess that kind of depends on your view of multi-perspective books. I mean, I'm a Sarah J. Maas reader, so I know how to perspective jump. I also am a Cassandra Clare reader. Yeah, so I liked that aspect, and I think that aspect also reminded me a lot of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I really liked that book as well, which had not as much perspective jumping, but there was time jumping. And this does have time jumping in it. There are 3 characters that it follows pretty concisely. You have obviously Kitty Carr, Elise, and Hazel. Now, I don't want to spoil too much of this in like a book reading vlog. I would definitely recommend this book. I would recommend this book to someone who wants to read more own voices as well. I think it was really good. The other thing was that some people didn't like, there's been too many stories lately about Black women passing as white, which is one of the main themes in this story. And I have not read any of those, so that theme doesn't seem tired to me. I also don't know why it would become super tired, but I think this was very well written and apt, and I can't think of the word. I don't know when this was written. This became the book for 2023 in May. Was it published then? It was. So this does take place in the more futurist or present time frame of 2017, in the like, because the other perspectives are in the past. So the most recent perspective is in the 2017 range, around when Colin Kaepernick was kneeling during the anthem, and surrounding kind of that first, I don't want to say first, but at least for my consciousness, the first kind of Black Lives Matter equality movement for me, because I was in middle school, high school, like upper level middle school, I believe, so like 7th or 8th grade when that happened. And that was the first instance to me in a very predominantly white part of Wisconsin that I actually saw race conversations, and I was actually old enough to kind of participate in race conversations, clearly not to the level that I can now, and with the tact that I can now, and obviously I am not like a fixture on the race discussion, because obviously I am not, but I think this was really well written and it really kind of reflected that. My only issue with it, not enough for me to deduct a star. I gave this 5 stars. I think maybe my feelings on it will change, but right now I think it has 5 stars in my opinion. Also, my star ratings are not dependent on how well written a book is ever. These are so I could flip back and forth, because there were some names I wanted to double check. My star ratings are never dependent on how well a book is written. Yes, that factors into it, but if I had a good time and it made me feel something, I cried twice reading this. There were some very sad scenes. I will give it 5 stars. My only critique of it is that the ending felt very, very rushed. I think it could have gone on for at least another 50 pages, or if you cut out a little bit in the middle. I understand why they didn't, but I think it kind of got a little rushed towards the end. I could have done with a couple more chapters from both perspectives. And then my only other warning, if you do pick this up, there are some triggers for violence and rape and graphic descriptions of how do I say this? They do in-depthly discuss period things for the 1940s, 50s in South Carolina from a African American perspective. So be wary of that. It also discusses generational ties. I don't know how you would say this. Like, it very aptly discusses what happens during this time period, especially in the civil rights movement, Jim Crow, such like that. So if you know the history of that, lynchings and such. This does have adult content. It's really good, and it discusses topics that I am not equipped to be an authority on. In fact, I am still learning and always will be. So I think this was a very good book. I don't know how to like properly sum up that. I think this was a very good exploration of familial relationships, race, history. It's good. I think this goes a little bit deeper than Evelyn Hugo went. Obviously, Evelyn Hugo has its own strengths, and I'm not comparing the two. I just think if you are looking for perhaps kind of a more historical analysis and like historical fiction type book, this will be better than Evelyn Hugo, which was kind of like old Hollywood-esque to me. It's been about a year since I read it, so maybe I'm off base, but when I think of Evelyn Hugo, I do think of course, her and her love interest and the kind of gay rights in that and discussing that through the years, but I also think of just kind of the Evelyn Hugo story and how all that kind of happens. With this, it's definitely a discussion of race, and there's a real, like, that's the story, is what happened, how this woman, why these girls got this money. So I think this is really important. So yeah, that's that. Go read it if you haven't. I really liked it. I got it from Book of the Month, obviously. So yeah. And then, of course, my next read, where did it go? I took the dust jacket off because I don't like them getting too damaged. Is The Unraveling of Cassie Holmes by Alyssa R. Sloan. All I know is that this has again been compared to a Taylor Jenkins Reid novel. This has been compared to Daisy Jones and the Six, but this obviously is not taking place in the 70s. This takes place in the 2000s, circa the Spice Girls. So, or like, it's kind of inspired by the Spice Girls. So I'm gonna read that. And I think next I want to read, well, obviously Nobody Like Us is 800 pages, so it's gonna take me a minute. It'll probably take me a day. And I think this new Sarah J. Maas, The New Crescent City, I think is gonna be probably over 800 pages, so we'll see. Other than that, I think I'll see you tomorrow, unless while I'm reading Cassie Holmes there's something really intriguing, and I will let you know if there is. I'll see you later. Happy Thursday, everyone. My one class for the day is already done. I'm eating a snack and having a yogurt before I go to my Big Brothers Big Sisters meeting time. But I keep seeing TikToks and stuff about how Percy Jackson isn't accurate, it's not good, la 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 la. Well, I think the budget for what we're getting is ridiculous. I don't know why they're doing that. I think a lot of people that are watching it are my age, so college age or even older, because I was like towards that end spectrum reading these books. But I think a lot of people forget that Percy Jackson is a children's TV show for children based on children's books. And the fact that they were written in 2005, which is over 10 years ago now. I think Lightning Thief came out in 2005, which is when I was born. Hold on, now I need to look. I was right. It was published before I was born, in June of 2005. It's old. It's coming up on 20 years old. Like, we're probably going to get a 20th anniversary edition. The fact that it's becoming modernized and is not living up to your exact expectations is not the show's fault. Also, these are child actors, children, portraying children. They're going to act like children. And I think some people are missing that. And I think other people are like, I saw something critiquing how old they're, or like how fast they're aging. It's one of the gives and takes of working with children is they grow, especially when they're going through puberty. it happens. I don't know why they expect it not to happen. And also commenting on a kid's, like, nitpicking and commenting relentlessly about kids going through puberty is also weird. And I see a lot of people, like, they're changing so many details. Why does Percy know everything? And I'm like, I think Percy knows everything to display the relationship that you cannot see in TV format, that you can see in first person written format with his mother. That they bonded over this, and that Sally knew who he was going to be, and she prepared him as best as she could. And this is, again, 20-year-old text that the writer of is finally having a chance to kind of review and put in his own format, in his own words. Like you can see in the TV show. I think it's phenomenal. I think a lot of people are expecting it to be exactly like the books and expecting it to be, just because it's written by Rick and like Rick has a very predominant hand in it, that it's going to be exact and exactly how they want it, when he's the author of it, he's its creator, and he determines what everything is. So those are my thoughts. I haven't read anything. I don't want to get into a book because Nobody Like Us comes out tomorrow and I'm gonna sit down and read that. So I'll see you tomorrow or later, whatever. Bye. Okay, tell me if I'm just dumb, but I just read the preview thing for House of Flame and Shadow. I read like the prologue in the first chapter, which, oh my god, I shouldn't have, because all I want to do, and people got their pre-order gift of the little booklet with the excess chapters in them, and it's taking everything in me not to read them. I read one, but there was literally no spoilers in that. But I had an epiphany. I'm thinking about the name, and I am probably the last one to come up with this answer and this connection, but I have to blurt it out. And what better place to blurt it out than a reading vlog? Is that it's literally called The House of Flame and Shadow. What do we associate with ACOTAR? Shadows. Azariel, Rhysand with his little mists. Like, Shadow Daddy. And Dorian, for that matter. Flames. The fire-breathing bitch queen herself. We have no indication that Aelin, Rowan, the TOG fam is even going to be here, but my little heart wants it so bad. And the flames make me think, oh, every time I think of flames in regards to Sarah J. Maas, I think of Aelin. So, spoilers, I think of Aelin. I'm just like, and there's the whole, I'm gonna be really honest. We're gonna have a truth time right now. I didn't finish the second book. I just want to read the third one. I got spoiled, and I lost all interest in reading 700 pages of that bullshit when the true story is at the end. Who wouldn't? What do you want from me? Anywho. So maybe tonight I will read the second Crescent City book, because I own it. I own two copies of it. I own it in hardback and in ebook form. So maybe I'll read it tonight. Or watch, like, the overview videos. Because, like, I don't know anything that happened in the second book, really. Like, I know that there was something with Lydia. And I know the ending. That's all I know. So, yeah, I'm gonna go bug my mom for a little bit because she's on campus today, and then I have a lot of homework to get done, so. Okay, first I started reading this. I read the epilogue. I'm really weirded out. Don't want to read it anymore. Maybe I'll go back to it eventually. Second of all, Nobody Like Us released a day early on a website, or on a reading application that I'd never heard of before, so I've started that. And we're gonna read that, and I'll update you with my feelings. Happy Friday. I started work today. That was the clip you just saw. I'm working on at an office on campus. Anywho, this Nobody Like Us, I finished it while I was working. I had like a chapter left on my break. So I finished it. The fact that Ben is the next gen to get a book is really exciting to me. I'm a little sad because I really want to see, they teased Xander's story in this, and it makes me sad that we didn't get to see more of it, but well, in time. Their books are chunkers, so I don't mind getting one a year. It's sad, but they're chunky. This is 807 pages. It was huge, and it was really good. I really liked the end of Lynn and Donnelly's story. So that's that. I keep seeing things about House of Shadow and Flame, and I would like to know when Sarah J. Maas books went from being haha cutesy, easy to read books for me to oh my god, I want to die. I don't understand all this theories. Like, at least like the critical thinking skills and like scheming within the Shadowhunters universe was to my love. I don't think I've aged past age 14, and like comprehensively, there's a reason I don't read high fantasy very often, because it's really hard to keep track of magic systems. Look, I was getting frustrated watching a TikTok on books I've read. So it's almost time. So there's like there's a Where's Waldo event. How can I perceive that? There's a Where's Waldo event that my housing building is putting on tonight. So I'm gonna go to that. I'm gonna drag one of the other girls that lives on my floor with me to go to that. And yeah. Hello friends, it's Saturday, so this is the last day of the vlog, but I went to the gym. I feel very accomplished. It took me like a half hour to get the courage to get out of my car and go to the gym, but after that I was there for like an hour and a half. I went to go pick up my prescription, and I got some frozen fruit while I was there too, because I wanted smoothies. And I've actually been, now that I realize it, I've been struggling to get fruit in. So this is a strawberry, banana, blueberry, obviously, peanut butter smoothie. And I actually, instead of using milk, used I had a shakeable Chobani little guy, and I put him in here. Here we go. Was third cup blueberries, third cup strawberries, a banana around this size, so this is a magic bullet cup, so it's about as tall as that. I broke it in half. 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, which is kind of stuck on the side, but whatever. And then about 3/4 of a Chobani little shaker. Hold on. One of these, but not the banana flavor, the wild. So I feel very accomplished. I did a full body workout. I did 30 minutes on the treadmill, and then I did increasing weight reps on all of the weight machines. So I'd start at a lower weight with 12 reps and then work my way higher while going the reps lower. And I did all whole body, so yeah. The endorphins are running. I'm gonna eat lunch and read. And eventually probably sit down and edit and do homework, but it's not a guarantee. So I'll see you besties later. Alright, friends. All the things I said I was gonna do today, I didn't do. So I took a nap. I read like 2 pages of a book. I'm gonna finish up and like fall asleep reading the second Crescent City book. I got spoiled before I could even read it. Like, it was out for 4 days and I was stupid and I went on TikTok and I got spoiled. Which is really sad because I had it pre-ordered. And I didn't want to read it because I wanted the next book because I wanted to see what happened. That was my issue. Oh my god, what other book? Oh, this is a sad one. That happened with Chain of Thorns. The last book in the Last Hour series, I got spoiled for. I forgot how many, like, Cassandra Clare-esque Shadowhunter blogs I followed in my heyday, in my youth, on Tumblr. And I got spoiled when I opened it to see a message my sister had sent me. I was like 3/4 of the way into the book and I stopped. I was that angry with the book. So, yeah. So I'm just reading it to get a little bit of context before I go into this new one. We'll see if it works. Every time a new Kristen and Becca Ritchie book comes out, I just hit a slump. Because I'm like, I want my babies. I really want my babies. Like, I want the Cobalt brothers. I did have a thought that I think Xander is gonna get clumped in with the Cobalt boys just because the most sensible path for me, now that they're with like a publisher and they're not indie publishing, the path that I see forward is to put Xander with the boys, or do, like, I feel like Xander can't be by himself, and the most sensible thing for me is to do the Cobalt boys and the Girl Squad, unless Xander is like the grand finale. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like somehow it either has to be Xander or Kenny that's like the last book, because or it's Maxwell. Like, it has to be Lily and Lowe's kid. It has to be a Lilo baby because Lilo is what started it all. But like the Cobalt brothers and the Girl Squad seem like 2 very clear series that can be made, especially from like a traditional publishing standpoint. And I don't know, like, it doesn't make sense to me to group Xander in with the Girl Squad or the Cobalt boys. But like, I don't know, I don't want him to be Garrison and Willowed, you know? Like, they deserve to be in the core series. Because it was, especially if it's with Harper, I think that's her name. And it looks like Ben is going to the university that the other girl is transferring to, which that romance is going to be cool. And I can't wait for all the Cobalt drama, especially with the bomb spoilers for Nobody Like Us. That, oh my gosh, it's really hot in my room. Sorry, besties, I needed to crack my windows. I'm dying. Especially with the plot that I thought for the longest time Beckett's book was going to be another triad book with Leo and Joanna. But with Tom's revelation in Nobody Like Us that he thinks Leo is really hot, I was wondering where his character was going to fit in, because they very rarely mention and develop characters that aren't somehow pertinent to the story. And also the fact that the death was Greg Calloway was upsetting to me. I so badly wanted it to be Samantha the Crow, but that would be too easy because the kobolds still need to be tortured. So now I can't remember because I know that, like, I need to check. I think it's Veda or Winona that's being set to go with Easton, which that is going to be a good one. I think that'll be really interesting to see because, like, the Hales kind of adopt him anyway towards the end of Nobody Like Us, so it'd be interesting to see if maybe, like, those two get paired off into their own, like, well, it's not duology. Each couple gets, like, at least 2 books min with these authors, which is my fave. But yeah, because, like, Daisy and Rick, Rose and Connor, Jane and Thatcher all got 2 books. The only one that got 1 book was Oscar and Jack, but they're, like, side characters, so but yeah, I'm excited to see how this runs. And, like, it said that the Cobalt family's all about, like, the loyalty and everything like that, which makes me think, oh yeah, definitely gonna be Tom and Leo, which means Beckett and Joanna, I think, are gonna be the coupling. Charlie's gonna be coupled with the ballerina, the, like, failing, the bad Anne character, and I think it's Charlie's plan to get her kicked out of the company so that he can date her. We haven't seen. I'm considering that Elliot's might be Jeffra, which would be wild. I don't know if they would do that to Luna, but we'll see. And we know we're gonna see them because they're moving to New York. Also, the fact that Luna takes over Fizzle made me tear up, like, a good amount. I actually should go to their Pinterest boards and see if they have anything pinned for El Rey. But yeah, on that note, this was the end of the vlog. It's almost quiet hours, so I gotta stop talking anyway. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go get some water and go to bed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.